This is the Vision 79 podcast, where my friend Sander and myself, Mason, discuss recent developments in our business and personal growth. The name Vision 79 comes from our respective racing numbers. Sanders is 40, mine is 39, and we have similar ambition to progress in business and personal growth. Many successful people have started small, just like us, but very few of them have documented their early years. They often say they wish they had, and given we believe in learning lessons from others, we intend to be the first to document our journey from start to finish. This is simply a documentary of our lives, and as such, we do not monetize these videos, so enjoy the ad-free content. Each episode is broken down into 3 segments, each covering our progress over the past week. We start by discussing our life updates, then our business updates, and lastly, we share any lessons we've learned over the past week. We have timestamps in the description to navigate these sections easily. Today is June 7th, 2026, and we're recording episode 110 in the old space where we used to record because there's birthday parties happening at my apartment complex where we usually record.
Throwback space.
Episode, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it here, so I don't mind. But
Yeah, it's not bad.
what is your life update this week?
Life update this week. So at Blue Origin, continuing to do most of the same work that I've been doing. I've been designing a panel, so continue to do that, as well as we had a new hire start this week and another one starting next week. So I've been doing a lot of the document prep and other guide stuff for the new hires.
Cool.
This past week to help them get onboarded and get settled in. And the BMW has no update, so don't know where that's at. But not worried about it. But
I'm not worried about it.
yeah, otherwise it was a really busy week work-wise. That's honestly about it. I did some research stuff on welders this week. And I had to run a couple odd end errands, but other than that, it was a lot of time in the shop space this week.
Did you do a date with Sammy?
Nope.
Hell yeah.
No.
Yeah, get out.
We got one tomorrow or Tuesday because she leaves for Boston for 10 days on Wednesday.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's always
Sammy was in
awesome.
Tampa on Saturday. That's a life update.
What'd she do there?
There was a Red Bull competition for diving.
Oh, did
So
she
she went to
compete?
go see that. No.
Oh.
She can't swim.
Really?
Yeah.
She lives in Florida.
Well,
She
I
can't
taught her how to
swim.
swim. She swims okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't.
When I
suck
met
at
her,
this
she
now.
couldn't swim.
At all?
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Pakistan.
No, like, did she grow up in Pakistan?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then
I
she
didn't know
moved to
that.
Texas, which is like also like non-swimming required.
Yeah. What part of Texas? Not on
Austin,
the
I think,
coast. Okay, so not
or Dallas. I don't know. Either one is land.
not Galveston. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did she have fun?
I think so.
Have you seen her?
Yeah. I saw her this morning before I left for the podcast.
Cool.
And she stopped at the shop on her way back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, while I was working.
Cool.
So, yeah, I saw her a little bit this week.
Gotcha.
What about you? What is your life update for this week?
I don't have as much this week. I got Grace on a family plan with my Whoop,
Cool.
which is cool because they offer a discounted rate for multiple people. So for context, I have the higher level, like higher quality Whoop, more expensive. She has the less expensive one. And so I got her 2 months free when I upgraded. I gave it to her and she got 2 months free.
Okay, cool.
And then Whoop said, you should just add her. Now that your 2 months is up and you have to pay, put her on your family plan. And so I said, okay, that makes a ton of sense. So I added her to the family plan. And then it said, your next payment of $350 is due in October. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because I paid for a year and I should have to pay for Grace's plan now or something like that, right? Like the payment should be the same. And when Grace opened up her phone, it said that you're required to upgrade to my level of Whoop because a
Oh.
family plan all has to be at the same level.
Oh, interesting.
You can't have multiple tiers in the family plan. And I was like, well, that's stupid because I don't want to pay to buy a nicer Whoop for Grace. The one she has is exactly what she needs. She doesn't need the blood pressure thing. So I canceled it. And so now the way it works is so confusing. I canceled it. Effectively, what it did is it took my annual payment that I made in March, and then it just applied it to me and Grace. And so instead of going for a full year, it only ran out to 6 months because effectively it's for 2 people. You're running at twice the rate, so you run out half as long, right? And when I canceled the family plan, it just kept that. So I only have mine till October. Grace only has hers till October. Her like lower tier Whoop till October, and then in October I have to pay for my thing again, and then she has to buy whatever plan she wants. So it was really
Weird.
confusing, which sucks because when they did the downgrade, it was really clear and everything made sense. If
Yeah.
they had told me before signing up for the family plan that she would have to upgrade, then I wouldn't have done it and I wouldn't have bothered. I would just gotten her the like $200 a year plan or whatever. So
Yeah.
that was annoying. Um, Her family member who moved down here from New York is looking at buying a new car. They want to buy a new car, like a
Hmm.
2026 car, because it comes with the Toyota Care 2 years of free maintenance. So you get 2 free years of free oil changes on a hybrid vehicle. Um, and they're actually looking at the Mazda CX-50. Apparently the Mazda car salesman told them that it has the same engine as the RAV4, and I said that's not true at all. They're different car companies. That's bullshit. And then I looked it up, and it's not false. It's Mazda is buying the power unit from Toyota. So
Oh, okay.
the inline-4 hybrid powertrain that's in the RAV4 is also in the Mazda CX-50.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so he asked my opinion, the family member. He was like, "What would you get?" And I was like, "Okay, assuming that I really want this maintenance plan, which I would not do. I would just get whichever one feels more comfortable to you. Like you're gonna buy a 2026 car. If you're gonna buy a brand new car, you know you're gonna lose half its value the second you drive it off a lot. If you're already knowing and accepting of that risk, then just buy the one that you like more. Like don't worry about resale value or reliability. They're gonna be just as reliable as each other, right? Like every dealership sucks when you go in to get stuff serviced. So like
Yeah.
if things break, it's gonna be just as bad. But just get the one you like more. Um, so that's that bullet point. The Lexus is already at its service interval. It's at 45,000 miles.
Wow.
But the last one, I did the oil change late at 42 and a half. So I was like 2,500 miles late. And so I would like to get back on schedule eventually, but with where the shop is right now, I don't want to try to do an oil change right now. So I'm going to use that 2,000 or 3,000 mile buffer again, and then I'll try to get back on schedule with the 50,000 updates. So like one of these oil changes is going to end up being shorter to balance out the longer one, but this one I'm going to plan to do like at 5,000 miles. That gives me another
Yeah.
like 2,000 or 3,000 miles to put on it while we get the shop figured out.
Cool.
And then my last bullet point is that the Camaro overheated again, which is annoying because it had stopped doing that for a while. And then it did it yesterday while we were moving stuff around the shops. So I had to go get water and top it up. When I'm low on water and like an air pocket gets caught on the temperature sensor in the engine, the temperature spikes really quickly. And so yesterday the temperature was climbing and I was like, oh, it's probably an air pocket. And then it like didn't. Usually like the thermostat opens and it clears it out and like the next patch of water reaches the sensor and it drops, but it wasn't dropping. And so it got like pretty high up there. And at like 3/4 of the gauge, I was like, I'm gonna pull over and just double check that everything's okay. And I pulled over and it was genuinely overheating. So I'm glad that I stopped it before I let it like fucking pin out at the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all my life updates. What are your business updates
Cool.
this week?
Yeah. So for business this week, moved a lot of bins and parts from the storage unit over to the shop space with your help and Joel's help. Thank you. Thank you, Joel. So moved that stuff over to the shop space and also a lot of stuff from the garage into the shop space. So stuff like chemicals, parts, various odd end parts from other cars like the Miata and the BMW, and started pushing that all over to the shop space. And so then once I got there, I started organizing the loft area on the shop, and I realized that the section over the bathroom is a different material, and it started to actually sag on the shelf when I had the shelf, and like you would walk across it and you would feel it like bowing. And so I didn't break the floor completely, but it was close. It was really close. I was looking at that and I was like, that doesn't look good. And then I went down into the bathroom and the ceiling on the corner had bowed on the bathroom inside. And I was like, oh, like this is not good. And so
one of the corners against the concrete or one of the like the corner that's
on the
side?
drywall side. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, this is not good. So I called Mike over and I was like, hey, like I loaded up the shelves you got with the material, but it's looking like this ceiling is bowing. And he was like, oh yeah, shit. And he was like, we gotta unload it. And so then took that shelf apart, unloaded it with Mike's help. Mike always super helpful at the shop space. And then we couldn't find the small pry bars he had. So I was using a big pry bar and a mallet and a hammer to break apart this area on the ceiling.
You were you prying up like the plywood on the top from the top of it?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it was
That's a pain
it
in
was
the
a
ass.
lot of work. It was like 2.5 hours of work, maybe 3 hours.
So were you pulling up the plywood to try to? Are you replacing that
We
whole
have
thing?
to replace it. Well, we had
Got
to
it.
see A, why it was bowing, how it was framed, and then B, it had to be replaced too because it was bending. And then once we took it apart, once I started taking it apart, there was actually a wet spot in the corner.
Oh.
So we had to take a look at that.
Is there plumbing over there?
There isn't, but there is like some old drain that is over there, and Mike didn't know what it goes to, but he said that he'd try to figure it out. It was closed off, but I put my finger in the pipe, and I could feel that it was damp. So it's got water coming from somewhere, either accumulation of condensation from something or something else.
Do you think that's where the water patch came from?
Probably. That's my best guess because I haven't found any other leaks.
Right.
Damn.
Damn.
But yeah, we tearing up this. So I'm like, I'm on this loft, standing between 2x4s.
Yeah.
Because like you can't put your weight on the bathroom ceiling part.
We put your foot through this.
Yeah. So there's a risk of that. So I was standing on the 2x4s with a pry bar and a hammer, getting this stuff off and pulling nails out, and it was a pain in the ass. And like once we started getting this undone, we realized that the only thing holding up this loft section on the bathroom side was metal. There were like these thin metal frames that they used for like running conduit through and other stuff like electrical conduit.
So like
And it
hollow
was-
square?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was those like thin. And then just 2x4s resting on that.
Oh,
And
heavy.
it was nailed to the concrete. It wasn't Tafcon. It was nailed to the concrete. And I was like, that is fucking sketchy. And so
At the risk of sounding like a dick, didn't Mike say that he built these in the 80s?
yeah, he said he should have been more involved with the build and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Classic builders, am I right?
yeah,
cut
yeah,
corners.
some shoddy work, but
Yeah.
start tearing that apart. Mike's on the ladder, just kind of watching me, giving me advice, and then I'm hammering it out. And he's like, "Those 2x4s are bending a lot." And I was like, "Tell me that after I get down." It's like, "Don't tell me that now." But yeah, like the 2x4s were bowing as I put weight on them, like as I was standing on.
Really? And they were stacked this way?
Yeah.
Dang. Are they also water damaged?
Potentially, it didn't look like it.
Could just be old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be old.
Were
but
they pressure treated?
No, it's just regular 2x4.
Got it. If you replace it with new pressure treated wood, I bet you'll be fine.
Yeah, he's having a framer come in today
Mhm.
and take a look at it, see what he thinks.
Yeah.
But we got to get that framed up properly.
Yeah. If you
Because
want to put
there's
much weight up there.
it's like there's nothing really supporting it, nothing like structural supporting it. So that took a while. It also kind of puts a damper on the whole loft because to get the piping and metal where I want it, I need to put shelving on that area. And right now I can't. So the pipe is now back on the floor with the shelves mostly disassembled. And so I have to wait until that's done to get stuff in the loft, which means I have to wait to put the bins up there
You can't do the bins.
as well.
Are the bins also going to go over the bathroom?
I need to take up the bathroom space with other stuff.
Where are
In
the
order
bins
to
gonna go?
The bins will go on the loft, but they're not going to go over the bathroom. But I need to put the shelf up to get the piping off the floor, which will go in the bathroom.
Right. But I'm saying, can you start doing the bins while you wait on the bathroom side?
No, because I have to do the piping first with the other shelving, and then that has to go over the bathroom. So I can't.
That's in the way of getting the bins
Right,
up.
because the piping has to be on the floor there. Because I can't put it on the shelves because the shelves are disassembled because I don't have enough floor space to put the shelves where I want them because they would have to go over the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pain. So I'm kind of at a stuck point right now, waiting for that to get framed up. What I'm thinking about doing is in the downtime listing the stuff I have in my garage on eBay because that's something I've been avoiding because I've been working in the shop. But if I can't really do too much in the shop,
Frees up
then
space.
I can do the eBay stuff and also prep for the lift guy. So likely the moving of the cars will get pushed because of that.
Right. Have you spoken to the lift guy yet, or is he elusive?
Yeah, no. So I'm scheduled in for the 15th.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a week from today. Or
Yeah.
a week from tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Monday.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but the electrician, I don't know when he's coming, so he's gonna plumb it in.
Gotcha.
But the lift will actually get put up in about a week.
Cool. Well, that'll get it off
Um,
the floor and out of the way. So that's good.
yeah, yeah. So, but definitely some structural work over that bathroom needs to be done.
Hmm.
And then thinking about the other stuff, I think I'm gonna just looking at the general framing. I know that Mike said I didn't need it, but I think I'm gonna put some more 2x4s on that back wall too, and then tap con them into the wall. So
Like
to
vertical
support the
supports?
back wall of the other portion of the loft. Supports.
So you have 3 or 4 2x4s on the back wall right now, and then you have two
I have
2x4s and a
3.
4x4 in the front.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I have 4x4, 3 4x4 posts over clamped together 2x6 with plywood. So the front's good, but the back I think could use 1 or 2 more 2x4s in the center
Gotcha.
to support it.
Huh.
Because there's only really 2 big anchor points, and then it's held up on each end. But it could be more structural,
Okay.
for sure. So I think I'm gonna swap that stuff in just to make sure, because I am gonna be putting a lot of weight up there. I don't want it to break.
Are the bins going to go along the back wall or the
No,
right side wall?
along the center. That's the tough part.
The bins are going to go along the center. Like you're going to have a wall of bins in the middle of the loft.
So it's gonna be the back wall is gonna be the piping and tubing. That's all gonna be there because it's long. And then essentially I'm gonna have, if the piping and tubing is like this, I'm gonna have bins like here and then an aisle and then bins and then an aisle and then bins and then an aisle, and then I think one more row of bins I can fit.
So if you want to go between aisles, you have to move the ladder to climb up.
Well,
Does the
no,
aisle go all the way back?
the goal would be to have the ladder be able to be in one spot, and then I could walk up there through my aisles and pull down bins.
Mm.
Because I'll have space between the shelves like this and the back wall with the piping to walk
okay.
laterally.
Got it.
And then longitudinally, I'll have the aisles that I've built through the shelving of the bins.
So the bin will come all the way out to the edge of the loft on the front edge, but you'll
Pretty
have space
close,
to walk
probably
along the
6
piping.
inches from it.
But you have space to walk along the piping.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So that would be the goal for that. But because of the amount of weight I'm putting up there, I want to make sure that it's like I don't want to take any chances because it's pretty catastrophic if that caves.
Yeah.
It would
Does the piping
ruin a
go
lot
the
of shit.
full length of the back wall?
Yeah, outside of like maybe a few feet. But the problem is too is that I need a few feet on each end for the AC guy to run pipes out to the back wall where the AC units are going to be mounted.
Got it.
And I don't know if I need 1 or 2, so I got to leave space on both. And then he needs about like 1.5 feet on each side.
If you want to use that pipe in the future, are you going to have to move all the bins down to get it out?
No, I should be able to angle it out. Like
Like
kind
over
of
the
walk
bins?
it out over the bins and then drop it through.
Gotcha.
So I should be able to do that. It should be feasible.
Okay.
Because I was able to lift it over my head, even by myself, and walk it along the ceiling edge and then drop it down where I wanted to. So even if there's stuff there, I should be able to walk it by that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be like definitely kind of like a Jenga puzzle to get it all to fit.
Yeah, but as long as you can get it.
Yeah, yeah, and I have to have enough space between the aisles to actually pull a bin out of the aisle too. So that's a consideration there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like 3 or 4. I got to see how it lays out, see how much space I want.
I think if you weigh the bins and then you stack it so that like the heaviest bins are all on the bottom and then you do lighter and lighter, you can probably stack 4 or 5 high depending on how light the bins get.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you do 4 high, I think you can fit. So probably do like 4 or 5 deep and 4 or 5 high. So then you could do like 20. If you did 4 bins next to each other and then a stack of 4 up, then that's 16. You can't have more than like 45 bins, right?
Well, it would be 4 by 4 by 4. So it'd be more than that, right? Oh no, wait, yeah, 4 by 4.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
4,
yeah,
4
my
deep
bad.
and then 4 tied towers. And then if you do 3 of those rows, one of them can be a back-to-back aisle. So then you really just have one aisle. I don't know.
Yeah,
You'll
it
figure it out.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you weigh them and you do the heaviest ones on the bottom, I think you can get pretty efficient with the space up there because the bins
Yeah.
stack so easily.
Yeah, yeah. I had them. So the reason I took pictures in the storage unit was I had them approximately laid out by their weight.
Gotcha.
From bottom to top
Mhm.
in their associated like rows and stuff like that. So I
Right.
thought about that when I did it there.
Right.
So I'm hoping to just replicate the numbers and how I weighed them
Mhm.
out in the unit, essentially.
When does the AC guy come?
Not sure yet. think I think Mike said kind of whenever.
Is he gonna
Um,
have to cut holes in the new floor that you make above the bathroom?
he's gonna
'Cause
have to cut holes in the concrete on the back wall.
but the AC mini split is gonna go. I thought you were talking about
Yeah, so
in the
the
bathroom wall
fan
too.
unit and the evaporator will go inside the garage, and then
Mhm.
refrigerant lines and a drain line will have to run out to the outside. So
Right.
he'll have to drill a hole through the cinder block concrete
Right. Below the loft or above the loft?
above the loft. Because
So
below the loft would have to go through the bathroom, and that's a nightmare.
so t oh, so where's the split going? In the sidewall?
The other side, the actual unit that's the condenser and
Yeah,
the bigger
the
unit
fan, the fan. No, 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 no. The
on the wall inside.
got it. Not the bathroom wall, but on the big long wall
Yeah,
along
yeah,
the
yeah,
length
yeah,
of the
yeah.
bay. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Previously, someone had mentioned putting it in the bathroom wall
Yeah,
pointing
that was
out.
because of line length, but I think Mike and I decided that it's best if it
Got
just
it.
goes in the center of the bay.
Got it. That's why I was thinking the repair would have to be done to the bathroom first because the AC guy is going to have to cut holes in that too to get it like through the loft floor and then out the concrete. But if you're not putting it there anymore, then it doesn't matter. So then the AC guy can kind of come whenever, regardless of your floor construction, right?
Yeah,
I guess he'll have to get there'll have to be a floor for him to stand on to drill the hole. So
right.
maybe wait, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, the main problem is that I need that bathroom loft area to get the shelving for the piping assembled in the center there to house all the long stuff.
Mhm.
And so I need that bathroom floor fixed first. So that's
Yeah,
kind of like the holdup in that respect. But glad that we found it before it got too carried away. Or glad that it came up before it got too carried away. So, could have caved in
mm,
or could have caved in long term too if that actual pipe continued to drip, whatever is dripping back there, whatever it is.
yeah,
So that's definitely consideration. Glad that it's happening now rather than when all this stuff is up there because it
yeah,
could be worse.
yeah.
But that puts a little bit of a damper on the progress in that respect, which is why I'm looking to pivot a little bit towards eBay
Mhm,
after I get the lift placement sorted out and what power I want where, because I can
mhm,
mark that with masking tape, put it on
right.
the wall, and have the electrician run it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm thinking in that respect. Um, I still have to talk with the guy I bought a large majority of the 914 stuff in regards to the welder and some of the other stuff he has. I
Mm,
ran into him Friday, but we chatted about other stuff, so I didn't mention it then.
gotcha.
I could have, but just didn't.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna chat with him this week, hopefully, to get that stuff. And I'm also going to be buying a dedicated shop vacuum
Mhm.
because right now I have a really nice vacuum, but I bought that one originally for the home slash garage.
Mhm.
And so I want one that's just at the shop and just at home because lugging it back and forth kind of sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's worth the little bit of money to just get a second vacuum.
Mhm.
And I'm looking to get a flame cabinet, a proper flame cabinet
Mhm.
for the chemicals and other stuff that I have
Yeah.
because I originally store it on a shelf in the garage because I didn't actually have the ceiling height back there to put a flame cabinet.
Yeah.
Um,
They're fucking expensive, dude.
they're like they're
Used
like
ones aren't
50
bad.
bucks on Marketplace.
What?
Yeah, like I
Dude, I
saw a
was
free one today in Del Rey.
oh, on Marketplace, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
New ones are fucking
Oh yeah, I'm not getting a
so
new one.
crazy expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's stupid.
I had looked at buying a new one for the fast station and it was like it was like $800 for like
Yeah,
a
it's
regular
silly. I
size
saw
cabinet.
one for $100, another one for $50, and then I saw a nice gray one that wasn't technically a flame cabinet, but it was a metal cabinet.
Yeah.
It was free. Just pick
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So totally affordable and doable. I'll just find one I like that's relatively local and get that. And another thing I'm thinking about is when I get the BMW back, selling it and replacing it with a truck.
Hell yeah.
Because over the last like 2 months that car's been gone, I think it's been a while.
Mhm.
Two or even closing up on 3 months, that car's been gone.
I mean, even when you had it, you weren't driving it all the time.
Yeah,
It's had
and like
problems
I
for a
thought
while.
that like, oh, I kind of need it for lugging stuff around or whatever, getting bins at Walmart. But like, if you're creative with the Miata or put the top down, like you
Mhm,
can stack shit up or have stuff go out the back of it, and like,
mhm.
you know, I really don't have a problem using that car for that, and I've been able to do pretty much everything I've wanted to over the last 2 months, which is arguably like the most intensive moving period I've had.
Mhm.
Either borrowing Sammy's car, getting a U-Haul, which I would have of the BMW wouldn't have replaced the U-Haul in any condition anyway,
Right.
even if I had the BMW, or hauling stuff around. The Miata's been good to me, so that's what I'm kind of thinking about in that respect. Probably selling and then not getting a truck immediately. I really want to wait for something that's a decent deal that I like.
Mhm,
Something that's I really would like a manual,
mhm.
which puts like a 50% premium on any truck that you look at.
Like what roughly year, like do you want 90s or do you want like
I want
early
something
2000s?
that is affordable.
Gotcha.
I don't really care.
Gotcha.
I would rather not have a 4-cylinder, and I'd like it to be manual. So like V6 or V8
Yeah.
manual with a cab and a bed and minimal rust. And that's like all I care about. Um, AC don't care about. Oh, power versus roll up windows. I don't care about interior quality. I don't care about
Are you
if
gonna
it
beat the shit
runs
out of
and
it?
drives.
Is it like a
I
bait?
just don't like. It's like it's not something that I'm gonna be worried about because this is just gonna be a shop kind of truck, and like
Gotcha.
it's not something that like
Whoa,
I need.
dude.
Like I'm not looking to get anything expensive or fancy or anything like that. If it looks like
Oh,
shit, that's fine. I just need it to run, drive, and haul.
dude, we should call Shaw and see if he'd sell you that old Ford we had. It was a 1996 Ford F. I don't remember the number, but it was a inline six, uh,
Diesel.
manual. I don't know if it was diesel. I can't remember, but it was the utility truck. So it had the bed and then all the metal boxes along the side, so
Oh
you could
yeah,
fit like tools and shit. They're locking boxes too, so you could like
yeah.
fit stuff in there. That's the most expensive flame cabinet I could find. Actually, that wasn't expensive at all. We bought it from a plumbing company that was going out of business across the street for like $1,600.
No, that's
So
not
we
bad
got
at
a
all.
great deal. Yeah, I have a video of me fucking caving the windshield in because the windshield
Oh
was
yeah, I know
cracked.
that video.
Yeah, we got a new windshield for it, and we replaced the back glass with one that would slide to
Oh
open
yeah,
to get better AC. But that was a fun truck. It was like it's a truck that's kind of meant to be beat up a little bit, like it's meant to be a little rugged. You're not
yeah.
gonna feel bad. Like my first thought with truck is I was telling Grace's family member, like, hey, instead of getting a RAV4 or a CX50 that's gonna fucking like tank in value in the next 5 years, yeah, he was also thinking about a Tacoma. And the new Tacomas only come in 4 cylinders, gay. Or you could get like Joel's, a 2023 V6 is great, but I would feel bad getting a Tacoma like Joel's and then beating the shit out of it. Like there's a balance between using a truck and like really being rough with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like a truck as nice as Joel's, I wouldn't want to be super rough with. I'd probably still wash my hands before getting in. But the
Yeah,
utility
I
truck,
don't like. Yeah, I want
yeah,
something that's just a utility truck.
yeah, for sure. Oh, dude, that opens up so many fun options.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
not
lot
even
of
a
stuff
truck
out
guy.
there. But that was about my week. Moving that stuff around. I'm going over to the shop space today to chat with Mike about what he thinks about the loft and how we can reinforce it.
Hmm.
And then I'll probably do some work in laying out where I want the electrics going as well as the lift placement. So
Yeah.
there's some stuff going in there. Um,
I have a question.
yeah,
Mike said that he was going to replace all the lights with new
yeah.
NC lights. Does that have to be rerouted with like does the electrical have to be rerouted for that?
No, when you go from fluorescent to LED, you essentially just put a ballast resistor in line
Okay.
with the current wiring. So essentially, the guy's going to take the lights out, the fluorescent ones,
Hmm.
put in 4 post LEDs on each.
Oh,
So
okay.
4 bulb, 4 bulb, 4 bulb, 4 bulb,
Got it.
and then another 4 bulb in the back. I think is how it's laid out right now.
Okay.
So it's going to have plenty of lighting. They're going to be LEDs, and he's just going to put the housings in with ballasts, and call it a day. So it should be very, very bright
Cool.
in there.
Cool. And
Um,
that's the electrician's going to do that when he does all the other routing? Or is
I
this not the
believe it, maybe
electrician?
not same day, but it'll be the same guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I just
Um,
looked it up because I was curious when was the last time you could get a Toyota Tacoma with a manual? Apparently they sell them now.
yeah, they still some. They're very expensive. Very expensive.
I'm sure they are. I just didn't know that you could get a modern truck with a manual transmission. I didn't
Yeah, yeah, you
That's
still
crazy to
can.
me.
It's
what's
farther and
crazy-
fewer between, but yeah.
for sure. No, and you're not going to buy a new truck. That's retarded. But
Yeah.
you're not going to get an inline 4 hybrid Tacoma with a manual transmission.
No, I don't want that. I want something
Yeah.
that has a real motor in it,
Yeah.
to actually pull stuff.
Get a V8.
Yeah, I just don't like. It's like get this or get that or get
Yeah.
this nice thing or a dually with a cab, and it's like
No,
okay,
you
well
don't need
I
a
just
dually.
want something affordable that can do the job.
No, you don't need a dually.
Yeah, I'd love a dually eventually, but if it's just gonna be a shop truck, I can get away with.
Now,
I can pretty much get away with anything that's not like a 1.6 liter fucking Ranger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want that. Like, I
dually-
just want a real truck.
yeah, a dually would be handy if you had like an enclosed trailer to tow, like
Yeah.
your boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
guess
dualies are
doesn't he
cool.
have like a Cayenne or something that he tows that with?
Yeah,
I
he
guess
has a
you get one of
Cayenne.
those. But
Ooh, way more expensive than a dually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't need a dually right now. Yeah, you just need like a regular truck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a V8.
I'd love a V8,
what's it
but
called?
it's whatever's
Strom.
affordable.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sure you can get. I mean, with how many trucks are out there, I think most vehicles that are sold in the United States are trucks these days.
Yeah,
Not the case
probably.
in like the 90s. So if you want like an older one, then probably not as common. But yeah, I'm sure you'll find something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of that stuff this week as well. The guy who gave me the incorrect address for the magazine, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get the magazine to him.
Oh, that sucks.
So I offered him up one from the selection for free that he wants as kind of replacement for that. Oh,
Goddamn, I'm
so
good.
close. But I offered one up for him for free from the selection that I have just
Oh.
to compensate for that.
Okay.
And obviously not my fault. He inputted the wrong address and gave me the wrong address. If he ever
Yeah.
tried to charge back the claim, like I have a very solid filing in order to keep that. But I would like to just mean well and send him one because he bought like 2 others from me nonchalantly, like
After?
impromptu. Yeah,
Got
like
it.
after that. So he's giving me plenty of money for the magazines, and I charged him a good amount for the one that got lost as well because it was one that wasn't getting reprinted. So
Gotcha.
I'd like to at least send him one for free that he can enjoy and read.
That's cool.
So I'm gonna send that over to him. And also on the eBay side of things, I'm gonna be listing stuff while the loft is under work, depending on the timeline on the loft.
You know, I was thinking more about this too because like it would really suck to have to pay for a storage unit on top of the garage just with how much space there is in the garage. But I'm wondering, it is a like volume wise, there's a lot of stuff. You obviously don't want your personal garage to be crammed full of things. Like you want it to be usable. If you could park the Miata in there, that'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to fill it with like car doors and like roofs and stuff like that. But I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, I bet that as you start to sell off the stuff that you don't need, like even if you do build a project car, you don't need 8 car doors. Like you need 2 or maybe 3 at the most, right?
Yeah.
And so most of those doors probably get sold off over the next few months. Like even if you did have to temporarily store it in your garage, and it's a pain in the ass, you could use that as motivation to try like list it to get it sold and try to get it out of there.
Yeah.
I really do feel confident that you could fit everything in the home garage and the big garage.
Yeah, combined
Yeah.
probably.
We got to find a
Um,
nickname for the big garage. We got to come up with a cool name for it.
But that's about it for business this week. Kind of a shorter update, just packed with similar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of work though.
the loft was definitely a screeching halt. When I saw the floor bending, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But glad that we didn't put more weight on it because once I started looking at the framing, it was sketchy.
Yeah, and the fact that it started to sag in the corner is actually, I think, a good thing because that's telling me that the supports in the middle of the beams are okay, right? It's just the corner that wasn't
Hopefully.
supported well enough.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I feel like you have so much support on the right-hand side, not the bathroom side, but the other side. I feel like there's enough support there that I feel confident that it will hold. And like the plywood there seems really strong because
But the bathroom loft is framed completely separate to the other side of the loft.
right. And so like I haven't seen the bathroom side, but
It's sketchy.
looking at the right side, I feel confident in stacking a ton of shit on that.
Yeah.
Putting
yeah.
bins on the left side, on the bathroom side, I have not looked at it enough to be confident.
Yeah, or if you look at the picture and the framing that I sent you, like
Yeah.
I can show you. There's like
Well, I just can't see what's
there
under
is
that. I don't know what's
there
holding
is
that
no
up.
vertical support on any of those corners.
There's no vertical support on any of those
Correct.
corners.
It is literally being held up by drywall and that metal tubing for the conduit. There's like no 4x4 posts holding that thing up.
Okay, got it. That I can't see in the picture.
Yeah.
Because the picture you took is top down after you removed the plywood.
Yeah, like
right?
if you look
Yeah.
under those boards, it's like
it. There's
Mike and I
nothing
were
under
looking at it
there.
and we're like, what the fuck is holding this? It's like literally friction to the wall and then the nails
Yeah.
going into the concrete. Like, it's sketchy.
Drywall is not meant to be like it's not got a
Structurally
lot of
load bearing.
Yeah, it's not a compressive material. Like
No. Yeah, so that was sketchy. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been having fun in the shop. It's like it's a nice refresher from like it's like
drop shipping.
well, yeah, that.
Yeah.
But like also like the lack of like OSHA flavored things that we deal with is kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's like
Mike's a cool guy.
you wouldn't usually have someone 10 feet up on 2x4s nailing shit out without like Fall Pro. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of fun in that respect. So I've been having fun with it.
Well, when Marco came over the other day to help you drill the 2x4 into the concrete, I was like, oh, they'll like measure it up. Because when when I built the lattice, I was down to like the 10th of inches. I was doing math and I had like my sheet of paper out. Like I'm specific when I do any type of construction. I built shelves for the shed we were using out back of Shaw's aunt's house. And like I took like 3 weeks designing the shelves to make them perfect because I wanted the drawers to slide in, whatever, like make it all nice and whatever, right? And then Marco came in, he was like, "Here, good," and you were like, "I think there's a gap in the wall there." He was like, moved it 3 inches, and he was like, and he just like went for it. I was like,
I knew he was gonna go for it. I was like, what else?
It's one of those things where it's like in the moment, my inner monologue is like, "How do you know it's the right spot?" But 10 minutes later, you're like, I don't, dude, it works. Who cares? You're never going to think about it again. Like, as long as it holds up the wall, who cares?
Right, exactly. So, it's all coming together slowly but surely. But that is my update for business this week.
I want to get you a housewarming gift for it when you're done. I have 2 ideas. One of them's functional and one of them is just rad. But I haven't decided what it's going to be yet. A part of it is one of the gift ideas. I need to know what your layout is going to be, because it's going to take up floor space and I don't want to get you anything that takes up floor space and then you're going to be like, fuck, I don't know where to put it. The other thing doesn't go on the floor, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I might have Joel go pitch in with me and get you something, or Justin too.
Well, I appreciate it. We'll see what comes about it.
Yeah.
But yes, apparently Sammy met someone at volleyball today who's got a $500 Miata that he was driving. It's automatic, but it doesn't run because of a fuel issue and he's not able to figure it out. So now Sammy's really excited about a $500 Miata, so that we could have twin Miatas. Well, if it's clean, I think she would.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I'm hesitant. If it's rust free and it's actually something that looks feasible. If the car's like really rough, I'm just gonna tell her like, no, like don't buy this thing. I don't want to work on it. Yeah. But if it's actually clean, like it would be kind of fun to have a pair of Miatas.
Yeah, yeah.
And like even if the AC is out, like I have a full AC system for that car, on the shelf ready to go. Yeah.
The last.
I have a rebuilt eBay compressor. I'd probably throw on that instead.
Yeah.
I have a new one in the box that I'm keeping for myself. But I should
case swap it, dude.
Fuck that.
Should I teach her? Should I teach her about that?
No, she doesn't need that.
So excited.
No.
Yeah.
But
$500 ain't bad for a Miata if it's not running.
I'm not paying for
a good reason. No, I mean like for her, like.
Oh yeah.
When I was looking at Miatas last year, I was looking at like the 7K range, and so like 500 for a running Miata that's clean.
It doesn't run.
500 for a Miata that's one small fix away from running is clean.
Yeah, theoretically.
Yeah, that's the thing is that's the Facebook meme is like, oh, it runs, it just needs a battery. And it's like, well, why haven't you put the battery in? Right? It's like, oh, it runs, it just has a fuel issue. It's like, well, why haven't you fixed the fuel issue?
Yeah, he said he couldn't figure it out, and then he brought it to a shop, and they couldn't figure it out either.
I only believe that if it's a BMW, like with your current BMW, that I would be like,
yeah, I was like, like the fuel system's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the Miata is an easy car to work on. If the shop can't figure out what's wrong with the
There's a lot of bad shops around here too.
But there are a lot of bad shops around here.
Yeah.
Huh. They should take it to Sorok Automotive. Once your 2 post is up, you can fix it for them.
Yeah. If I want to dedicate the space or time to it.
Yeah. Are you still planning on servicing people's cars every once in a while to make money?
Yeah. Potentially.
Should I send people to you? Should I intend to send people to you once it's done?
I'm probably gonna do Porsche only.
Gotcha.
I don't really want to. I'm not looking to become a service shop. I'm not looking to. One thing that I learned from when I used to do that is like I'm not a fan of the fucking Kava bar scene clunkers, which is like most of what I serviced, and it was really fucking frustrating because you'd fix something, and then they'd be like, Well, there's also this, and like every single time you got into these clunkers, there was shit broken, bolts, rust. They never paid me on time,
Yeah.
and I always tried to give them a fucking discount. They still didn't freaking pay me on time. I
Yeah.
want someone like I just want Porsche people who go in and they pay, and then
Yeah.
I'm done. And it's like it's not some shit box. It's been well maintained. It's easy to work on. Like I'm not looking to fucking service the high school kid's car that's been clunked out and now they just want this singular ball joint fixed although all the suspension is blown out.
It's what most people drive.
Yeah, it's like I'm not doing that.
Most people
Not
drive
doing that.
shit
It's a waste of
boxes.
time.
I love my dad, but even my dad's nice Kia is like getting to shitbox levels right now. Like all the dashboard lights are on, the leather on the center console is peeling up, the paint's starting to fade. I'm no fucking angel either. The Camaro sun visor is completely detached. So every time I put my sunshade up, I have to pick up the sun visor off the passenger floor. So like, I'm no better, but the Camaro actively falls apart on me and I have no money to fix it. So that's, a couple issues there. But yeah, most people drive and like don't maintain like at all. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Even like newer cars. Like I know people who have bought like 2020, 2019 cars and like I get in and I'm like, what is it? What the fuck is that rattling? They're like, I don't know. It's been doing that for a while, but like it runs. I'm like, dude, come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
man.
it's a
Like,
lot of that. I'm just not interested in that.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
Just don't want to deal with it. But that's about what I got for business this week.
Cool.
What do you have for business this week?
My business update centers mostly around Google, but I have a few other updates first. So I'm going to go out of order from what I have been doing. I'm going to start with ad writing for Facebook. Last week I had prompt 6 done. I realized that I wanted the 2 avatars, which I rewrote prompt 5 for and got prompt 6 to rewrite for the 2 avatars. I realized after the fact that I wanted a longer body and a shorter body, and I hadn't asked it to do that. And so I wrote up something with the example advertisement from the top agent who we were talking about last week to model the short body after. And then I gave it to Claude and then said, rerun prompt 6, give me a short version of the body using this as a reference, and then write me a body with no length limit. Write it as long as you feel it needs to be to effectively convert someone. And so that's where prompt 6 was at on Monday or Tuesday last week. I can't remember. We did podcast on Monday last week, right?
Something like that.
It was Monday. It was like the first day.
Oh, it was Tuesday we did it.
Yeah. So that's where I was at.
Because I couldn't get out on Monday.
Yeah, that's where I was at Tuesday night. Wednesday morning was a training at Blue Marlin about prospecting. And so prospecting is the real estate term for like going and finding new leads, right? And I went mostly to hear what other people had to say because I'm curious to know what's working for other people. I didn't really have much to contribute or ask really. Like I know where I'm at. I know that open houses haven't worked for me. I know that building sphere of influence relationships with people work. That's the only sales that I've converted is people who I've known for a while. And I know that I'm trying to do one-to-many cold advertising via Facebook, right? I'm confident with where I'm at. I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I'm curious what's working for other people because we spoke to Everett's mom a while ago about open houses. She asked Grace, like, how's it going? And Grace, at the time we had done like 30 open houses in a row. And Grace was like, we haven't converted a single sale. And Ellis was like, oh yeah, over COVID, like you could host one open house and get 3 clients that would convert to sales. And like, it's just not like that anymore. Like people are more distrusting of agents or like, just not interested. Like it's open houses are a dead lead gen method now. Which at 30 open houses in a row, I'm like, cool. I wish I had heard that previously. But even if I heard it then, I probably wouldn't have believed it and wanted to do the open houses anyways. So I was like, okay, we're going to go to the open house or to the prospecting training because I have one question. How do I get my clients to leave me a Google review? Because Google reviews are important to me. They always have been. And I offer to cover the $400 transaction fee in exchange for my clients writing a Google review, right? The sellers in February, I told them we would do that. We closed the deal. They never gave me a Google review. Husband and wife. So 2 Google reviews I missed out. I paid $400 and I didn't get it. These people that we just closed with, I mean, I've spoken to them after the closing too. They're in a great mood. They're happy with how everything's going. Like we're a part of the family. We're invited to the like 4th of July party. No Google review. And so I'm like, God damn, like what do I have to do? Because I've paid $800 for 0 Google reviews now. And so this is a problem. What do I do? And so I went to the prospecting training with that question in mind. And I was surprised with the information that I got when I got there. The first person that I spoke to had also been doing open houses and they weren't working for her. The only open houses that actually convert for her are her own open houses. So when she's selling a house and she's the listing agent, she'll either find someone to buy that house and she'll double end the deal, or she'll find someone who she'll go help them find a house. And like they have a level of trust with her because it's her listing.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking, well, maybe that's part of it, right? The top agent spoke on open houses and he said he hates open houses. He doesn't like to do them, but they're worth it to do it for his own listings because people are already familiar with him, because he has the funding that when he does an open house for one of his listings, right? He has already hammered the neighborhood for like 3 weeks. He sent them postcards. He's done local Facebook ads. He's done local advertising in that area. They know who he is. And the neighbors have talked about him, whatever. When he does an open house, he's got a food truck. Like people know who he is when they show up there. And so it's worth it for him. And that's not something that I have, because when I do an open house, it's for someone else and I just pick it up like, a week before. And so something that I kind of pocketed there was, okay, open houses can convert, but they work better when it's your listings, right? So good to know, because the only open house or the only listings that I've had, we sold before it went public on the market anyways. So I didn't get the chance to do an open house. So that was interesting information. They had a lot of different prospecting methods that they were going through, and a lot of people had questions on stuff that didn't really apply. So like, I do have the sheet with me. Hang on. Let me read through this for you. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this is the sheet that they gave us. It's all of these are different types of prospecting.
Okay.
Right? So I'll rattle off a couple. Calling for sale by owners, calling expired and canceled listings, door knocking, open houses, sphere of influence, referral networks, community involvement. People were asking questions. So like when I'm reading through all of this, I'm like, where's the ads, right? And I get to the end, the last page here, paid leads, paid social media advertising, postcards, Google local service ads, and YouTube videos. And I'm like, okay, the last page is all I care about, because the rest of the stuff I could be fucked about, right? For many reasons. Like I've talked about it before. I think the best way to do ads is because it's a minimal effort and then you just blast it out to as many people as possible, right? Like for Facebook, you get great exposure. Even if people don't actually convert, they still see your face on Facebook, right? So they get familiar with you. People were asking about, dude, what was this stupid one? Community involvement. Someone asked about community. They were like, I'm really passionate about like the oyster beds in the Indian River Lagoon. And so I want to become a part of that community and like become the real estate agent for like that community. And off rip, I was like, I totally back up, like, being the real estate agent for whatever community you want to be a part of. That makes sense to me, right? Like go follow your passions. But like, if that's your main source of lead gen, you're closing yourself off to a niche group of people who like to do these oyster bed things on Saturdays. That cannot be more than 60 people. And of those 60 people, half of them probably already have agents, and like, the other half might be open. So like now you have 30 people, but it's the same 30 people every weekend that you're subjecting yourself to. So it's like a really limited scope. You're not putting yourself in front of a bunch of other people, and it's time intensive. Like you have to become a member of a community takes time to show commitment. And so you're looking at like probably 2 hours every weekend over the course of months. And so those hours really stack up. And so like those were all the thoughts that hit my brain immediately. And then my broker said, he like put him on blast and he was like, here's all the reasons that community involvement kind of sucks. And then he like rattled all those things off. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I guess even though I have no fucking like clients right now, at least I understand the process as well as my broker does. They emphasize sphere of influence being important and like talking to the people who you went to college with or live in the neighborhood of. They said posting on social media isn't enough. Like you have to physically interact with them, like, call them or text them or send them like gifts and stuff like that. Blue Marlin merch. And so they mentioned that, and I was like, okay, I could probably do a better job with my sphere of influence of reaching out to people like that. But no one was asking. People asked about expireds and canceleds, which a big thing with expireds and cancels is that the lead wants to sell because they tried to sell with an agent and it expired, or they canceled it and took it off the market. But they were just seriously thinking about selling and it didn't work out. What's also great about expireds is that you can ask them what went wrong. and they'll want to vent about it, and they're giving you a roadmap of like, here's exactly what you need to do the opposite of to like service me well, which is really great. People were asking about that, but it kind of got quiet and no one was asking any questions. And they were like, okay, of the 15 we have on here, we only have time to go over like 2 more. Like, does anyone have any questions? Who wants to go over what section? And I was like, paid social media advertising. And they were like, okay, great. I'm glad you asked about it. The top agent started grinning. I have it in my notes. He started getting excited. And they were like, it's really great for exposure. You reach a lot of people. You meet your target audience where they're at because they're already on social media. You can speak directly to their avatar. Like, they're using words that you and I are familiar with, right? And no one else is taking notes. No one else is paying attention to it. And they have a pros and cons section in each of these. And the cons section toward the whole back sheet here is just, it's expensive. Like all the ones on the back
it costs
sheet.
money.
Exactly. It costs money. And no one is interested. And that's why no one was asking about this back page, is because it costs money. And a lot of these people are looking for like low to no cost ways to get leads.
Yeah.
Which, like, power to you, but you pay with time or money and you use what you value least, right? And like, I don't have a ton of money, but I would light it on fire if it meant getting more leads, right? Compared to my time. And so I got some really great notes from this section. But what's interesting is, where's my notes? Hang on. Oh, Jesus. I have so many fucking Google tabs. Bear with me. Do you have any questions?
Not yet. I'm looking forward to what you got to say though. Sorry.
Marlin resources, trainings.
We are in the middle of going through tabs
No, you're good.
for the viewer.
Yeah, I have so many. Oh, and it's going to load forever because I'm on my hotspot. I'll just use what I can remember. The top agent stood up and started speaking. And this is the first time he'd spoken all training. But like, this is what I can tell he's passionate about. Because like, he has the money. I did the math. He told us that he has so far spent, I can't remember the dollar figure. It was like $30,000 or $60,000 on ads so far this year.
Okay.
And I did the math and it was $200 a day is what he was averaging. And so I thought, okay, he sends out postcards. And he'll send out like 1,000 postcards at a time, 70 cents a piece at $700 in postcards, right? And he'll do that for multiple listings, multiple times. And so if he's spending of that like 30,000, let's say, this isn't opening.
So he's
the math?
essentially spending $200 a day. What was the math oriented question?
The math oriented question was, it was either $30,000 or $60,000 he's already spent. I can't remember what. The math was he's spending $200 a day on average on ads, right? That's not just like $200 a day in Facebook ads or $200 a day in Google ads or YouTube ads, because he's also doing the postcards and stuff like that, right? He'll lump in like, you know, t-shirts and closing gifts and food trucks and stuff like that in there. But like in total, $200 a day is what he was spending, right? So he spent $30,000 or $60,000 on advertising so far this year. His adjusted gross commission is $700,000. So he's spending like 5 to 10% of his income on advertising, which for me would mean I can spend like $1,000 on advertising. But obviously I'm not making enough money, so I'm going to spend way more than that. But he perked up, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. I got good notes, even though I can't get them to load. Nothing you and I haven't heard before. It just is reaffirming to me that like these type of ads is the direction that I need to go. And I am starting to think that one of the reasons people don't do it is because it costs money, and looking at that figure makes them sick. And people are more willing to buy postcards than they are to do social media ads, because they know that there's a piece of paper with their face on it going to real people, and they don't believe that the social media ads are being put in front of real people. It's just a number on the
screen.
screen.
Just don't understand it.
They just don't understand it. I think that's really what it is. And like, I get it, because when I was running ads last year for like $5 a day spend, and I would get like a lead every other day, it was some geriatric who didn't know that they had clicked on the ad, right?
Yeah.
But one of those geriatrics was a guy who I had actually met at an open house in Merritt Island, a real person who I spoke with and had a long conversation with. And it was a political conversation that I didn't enjoy, but it was a real person. And so I have the conviction that it does actually target real people, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about paid social media ads. They were like, what else do you guys want to hear about? And it was dead fucking silent. And I was like, can you elaborate on these Google local service ads? Because they had mentioned it previously in the training. They were like, guys, prospecting is a big deal. We've had 6 listings this week come from Google local service ads alone. and it totaled up to like, like $3 million, I think, was the total listing commission from 6 ads, which is really good. And so I was like, can you expand on that? And one of our brokers, Nick, was like, I'm really glad you asked about it, because it's been working really well for us lately. But they have heard from their friends at the Alphabet company that Google is jealous of the market share that Zillow is getting from realtors right now. Because the way that it works in summation is, if you're looking to buy a house and you go to Zillow and you're looking through houses and you find one and you end up working with a real estate agent that you find through Zillow, that real estate agent on closing owes Zillow commission. So
Yeah.
Zillow's making money from realtors. Google doesn't want that. Google wants you to go Google realtors closest to me and then find a realtor that way, because then I, as a realtor, will pay Google money for you to call me. And so then Google can recapture some of that market share, right?
Yeah.
So Google has been dumping a ton of money into their local service ads recently. Google has had general ads before for anyone who searches this stuff, but the local ads targets a specific community, right? So you can set your lot boundaries and stuff
Yeah.
where you want people to be. Apparently, they're working really hard to make it more effective. Not a lot of people are using it right now because it's still new. And so I revisited my Google profile after the I'll get to that in a second. It's still new. And so they were really emphasizing that it's important. And I was like, okay, got it. Like, I'll take note. I'll check it out. And the broker was like, yeah, it's, really important. You should go check it out. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm looking at like Facebook ads, but, I'm just trying to figure out like, how much spend to spend per day. Like, how much would I anticipate spending per day on the Google ads? And he was like, well, Blue Marlin's monthly budget is $35,000. And I was like, okay, got it. I'll talk to banks about a personal loan. Like, I made a joke. And he was like, no, no, no. That's not how Google ads work. You tell Google I'm willing to spend up to $35,000 a month if you can bring me that many leads. It's a pay per lead thing. So you only are billed when someone interacts with your profile, when they try to call you, when they try to book an appointment, when it's a legitimate lead. And if you get a call from a spam number and Google sends you a bill and you can prove to Google that it's a spam number, they'll refund you. And I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, Blue Marlin's never spent $35,000 a month. That's a crazy number. We just can't afford it, so we tell them that we will. And I was like, okay, that seems reasonable, pay per lead. Actually, while we're talking about Google, I am having a problem with getting my clients to give me Google reviews. And the top agent interjected and he was like, just hound them. Just like every time you talk, just like mention it. Like, just be the follow-up king. Like, just continue talking about it and eventually they'll give you one. And I was like, well, I don't want to bother them. And he was like, listen, if you've already had the conversation about paying the $400 thing, like, unless you're being mean about it, which of course don't be mean about it, but if you just drop it in conversation that it really helps your business out, just keep doing it. And eventually they'll feel bad and they'll do it. And I was like, okay. And he was like, also, you might be a medical grade retard for paying $400 a Google review. Fuck that. Just go get Google reviews from your family, your friends. Go raffle off a Blue Marlin Yeti cooler and ask people to leave you a Google review. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want, like, I want to use Google reviews as like an actual metric to measure my business, right? Like, I don't want a bunch of bullshit Google reviews. And he told me he was, oh man, what did he say specifically? It was something along the lines of like, if you know someone well enough that they could give you a review based on your character, then they can leave you a Google review, even if you haven't serviced them as a client. And I was like, okay, great example is that you're not a client of mine, but you know me better than anybody else. And I could use a review from you to say that Mason is a good character and will treat you well. That's valid, right? And so that would work. Random people off the side of the street, I'm not so sure. And then Dylan was like, the top agent was like, your Google reviews directly correlate how well your Google local service ads do. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, think about it this way. If Blue Marlin is paying Google, telling Google they'll do $35,000 a month, and you're telling Google you can afford $1,000 a month, and Blue Marlin has 2,000 5-star reviews and you have 2, they're going to put more leads in front of Blue Marlin because that lead needs to call you for Google to get paid. So Google benefits, Google gets paid if they click on you,
Yeah.
right? Which is different than Facebook, because for Facebook, they want people to interact with your ads, but they don't not get paid if they don't. But for Google, they do not get paid if they do not interact with your profile. And so I was like, okay, got it. So I revisited my Google profile after the prospecting training. I got a lot more stuff from it too, but I can't get my sheets to open up. And I went and revamped my stuff. I updated my photos in there from my recent sale. There's a new feature in the business profile where you can add updates. It's what they call it. It's basically like an Instagram post. But you can have a call to action button at the bottom. And I linked that to a Google form that I made, which is first name, last name, contact information. Are you a buyer or seller? Tell me about your real estate situation. So my idea is that I'm going to direct people to that Google form. They'll fill that out, and then that'll be effectively my CMA data dump. So I can just go visit my Google form every once in a while and pull my newest leads from there, and then I can download them into a sheet and then export them to my CMA. That's my idea for that. And so I changed my website in my Google business profile to be that Google link too. I put the Google link in my Instagram and Facebook bios. So now in my Instagram, it says something like, if you're thinking about buying and selling a home, click the link and fill out the form, something like that. So I'm trying to get to people directed to that, because there's a chance that people are like bored at their desk at work on their lunch break and they're just like scrolling through real estate agents and stuff on Google, or they're typing in like agent near me. They're not going to hit the call button right then and there while they're at work, right? But they maybe would fill out a Google form. And no other agent has that in their Google profile. It's all the phone number. It's all just like phone calls to them, right? I still have the phone number, but I also have a Google form. So I'm hoping that that is a little bit of diversity. My goal is to hit 20 Google reviews before submitting my business to be reviewed by Google to go do the local service ads, because you have to get approved first. So I printed out a sign to bring to me at the bar, and the sign basically says, if you leave me a Google review, I'll buy you a shell, right? Doesn't say a 5-star Google review, doesn't say a good Google review. It just says, if you leave an honest review, then I'll get you a shell. And so I also reached out to some family members and stuff like that. I'm at 7 Google reviews right now. I need 20 to launch. That's my self-imposed number. I have like 6 people in the tank right now that are supposed to write one. So that'll get me to 13. So I just need another 7 to get to 20. And so what I'm going to do the rest of today is go hammer those until I get to 20, and then I'll submit my Google business profile. Funny enough, the top agent was like, oh, also, if you can get Google reviews from the Google local guides, then that adds a ton of credibility to your profile. And I was like, I am a Max Evolution Pokemon Google local guide. And he was like, I will give you a review if you give me a review, because that's really valuable. And I said, okay. So we swapped reviews. So I gave him one, he gave me one.
Cool.
And I left myself a review. I didn't realize I could do this, but I gave myself 5 stars. And then I said, I work with this guy every day. I would highly recommend it. It's just like kind of a cheeky comment, but do what you can, fake it till you make it, right? So that's where the Google local service ads kind of ended up. I still want to do the Facebook ads. I'm still going to do the Facebook ads. But the pay-per-lead feature for Google, and the fact that it's working for other agents at Blue Marlin right now, and it doesn't seem to be like a widely used thing. It doesn't seem super saturated. So I want to try it. And since it's pay-per-lead, I'm probably not going to be spending more than like $100 or $200 a month on it, which still gives me the allowance that I need to run Facebook ads. Also, the Google local service ads only give you exposure to people who are Googling you. So someone has to Google real estate agent near me or Space Coast real estate agent for me to come up. The Facebook ads is going to show it to fucking everybody in the area. And
well, not really, but yeah.
Well, people who fit the demographic in the area who are likely to click on it, right? Because, not everyone is going to click on my ad, but if someone sees my ad, they see my face, and then that ups my exposure and my facial recognition with those people. And what I learned from the top agent at this prospecting thing is that people recognizing you is really valuable. And it doesn't make you money the second they see your Facebook ad, because they might not click. But if they recognize you from your Facebook ad and then you sell a house in their neighborhood and they come to the open house, they already know you. And then you're more likely to convert that lead. And so the top agent really hammered home like volume, exposure. And did you have something to add? I feel like I cut you off a minute ago. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a second. It's hot because I have to get a drink of water.
I don't really have anything. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay. Your mom usually does too. So, I'm sorry. There's one more thing I got from this training, which was our broker was talking about postcards, because postcards are expensive. This dude made a $2 million sale, which is like a $60,000 commission.
Okay.
After a split with the broker, he probably kept like $50,000, right? And he could barely stomach paying $1,400 for postcards to that neighborhood announcing the sale, right? And our broker was making fun of him because he made $50,000. And he asked the top agent, he was like, what would you spend on postcards for that sale? And the top agent was like, $1,400 would be below my bare minimum. Like, I'm spending probably at least $4,000 on postcards alone, and then I'm making announcement posts and running ads on top of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna hammer it. And I was like, okay, good to know. Like, maybe I should have sent postcards when I made the sale in February. Maybe it's not too late, whatever, to my parents' neighborhood when I made that sale.
Mhm.
And then he said something interesting, which was, guys, he didn't even sell the house. He was representing the buyers, and he still sent out postcards.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, the tricky thing in real estate is that, like, you're a part of the sale if you're representing the buyers, but I didn't list the house for sale. So, like, I didn't make the sale. I didn't sell the house. I technically helped the house be bought, right?
Yeah.
And so that doesn't really count. And Chad, the broker, had a quote that stuck with me that I actually think is my, oh no, it's not my, it's neither of the quotes I've written down here. Anyway, it's a great quote. He said, if you're not the voice of your own sale, then someone else is going to be. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. Because most people don't know or care if you represented the buyer or the seller. They just know that the house got sold.
Yeah.
And really, I don't care either. It's like, I'm confident in the service that I provide. I'm confident that I can buy or sell a house. And so if no one else is going to be that voice, then I need to be that voice, right? So in lieu of that, I made a task to go to the house that we just sold, bought, whatever, in Palm Bay. And I am sending postcards to that neighborhood. It's 96 houses, which is like $65, $70 in postcards, which is affordable for me and gets my face out there. So I ordered the postcards to be sent. What I'm also doing is I'm going through the Brevard County property appraiser because the guy who was selling this house, he sold it for $570,000 to my clients, right? He bought it in 2018 for $250,000. So he over doubled his money in the last 8 years, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there must be other people in the same area who are in a similar position that might not know that they have that equity, because that's a lot of equity very quickly, right? So I'm going through and I'm looking at anyone who bought prior to 2020, and then I'm getting their contact information from the white pages and I'm putting them in an Excel sheet, right? Once I have all the people who qualify for being in an equity position in a spreadsheet and the postcards have gone out, they should ship sometime this week. Then next weekend, I'm going to call them one at a time and I'll be like, hey, I just sold a house in your neighborhood. You know, I found you on Property Appraiser. It looks like you've got a bunch of equity in your home. You know, I was just wondering if you knew and if you wanted to act on that, to see if I can get anyone to convert from that.
Cool.
So that's all the prospecting stuff and the Google stuff. I have a fun update, which is, so Grace is looking for a home for her family member that moved down here. They want to live in
Yeah.
a tiny home. And Grace was looking at properties in Palm Bay, and like South Palm Bay, because it's roughly halfway between her and her sister in Vero. And she was talking about a new 95 exit that they built. It's the St. John Heritage Parkway. It's like exit 156 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's like way South Palm Bay. It's like North Vero almost, right? And I remember seeing on Google Earth, the images don't even have like the exit done yet. It's like still dirt roads. And now there's a full exit and a Publix there. And I'm wondering if they're going to finish that road out to the east to US 1, kind of like 192 or Palm Bay Road or Malabar Road, if they're going to build a road like that down there. Because if they are going to do that, all that vacant land is going to go up, like the city's going to want to buy it to build that road. And so kind of like the Alex Ramose's buddy who's like, buy land 20 miles, like you follow Main Street and then buy land, right? That type of deal. There are plots that are selling for as little as like $5,000 or $10,000 for like quarter acres out there.
Oh, wow.
And so I have asked Grace. I talked to a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours who works at the airport, who's friends with the county planner, and I'm trying to figure out what they're doing with that road. Even if they don't build out to the east, they just built a Publix to the west of 95 there. And there are housing developments being built there. And there's plots of land there, like right off the main road, being sold for like $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I would be totally open to buying a couple plots of land and doing like, you know, a couple $100 a month mortgage to buy up a couple plots that eventually I could sell to a developer for way more money.
Yeah, if you're talking about the exit that I'm thinking of, the one that goes out east just stops
It does
right
stop.
now. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's been like that for a long time.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it has, because Mike told me about that. And he said that he used to go out there when he was younger and race cars and dirt bikes and other shit like that.
That's funny.
Out on that road. So I think it's been like that for a while. It doesn't mean it probably will get developed because everything's expanding, but I would look a little bit at the history of that and
Yeah.
see maybe there's something in the works. I don't know.
If it's been there for a while and it's kind of been forgotten about, the Publix is what gets me. Because like there's a Publix and there's new housing developments that are being built right now and announced.
Yeah.
So like they're empty plots right now, but I know that the developer has purchased the property and I know that they're selling new construction homes.
Yeah.
Because you buy a new construction home before it's built.
Right.
And they're selling plots down there. And so I'm just wondering what's happening. And if that's the case,
Yeah, I don't know.
that I would be more comfortable investing in that than in the SpaceX IPO. And so tomorrow there's a county meeting or something with our buddy. And so I'm going to have him talk to the county planner and see like who owns that land, what kind of permits are being done, what is the plan for that? Is there development being planned down there? And if that's the case, then I might go buy some land down there. Justin was talking to me earlier this week about buying like a 4-bed, 2-bath house and then renting out 3 of the rooms because you can basically offset the mortgage that way. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, because like there's houses being built by my apartment complex right now that I'm confident will go up in value. Like if you're in the Space Coast Town Center, once it gets developed, I know it's going to increase. So I would really like to buy property just from an investment standpoint. I don't even want to live in the property. But Justin and I were just talking about it. And then Grace and I were talking about her family member. And I was like, that might be an interesting place to buy a couple plots. Because if you can get like an acre for like 20, 30 grand, that's like,
it's a good amount of land.
Not bad. Yeah, that's 4 residential houses. And if each of those plots sell for like 70K, then you're over doubling your money. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my business update.
Very cool.
What do you think?
I
know you had apprehensions with the Google stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see you finish out from a personal perspective, finish out the Facebook and Instagram advertising, and just hammer that, film the videos, and really get out there and see how it does. I just don't, from a personal perspective, I wouldn't want to see you get distracted with different avenues and then get spread thin. I mean, Facebook and Instagram can work. I mean, the like from the local environment perspective in comparison to what I was doing, like the local environment, Facebook and Instagram advertising is such a golden platter in comparison to national or multinational advertising.
Yeah.
It's like so fucking nice. It's like one of the things I really considered doing before I realized I just hated the business and the model was doing localized state advertising in every state and then just hammering that, because it's just like you get into such a greater niche by that. It's so much easier to target specific people. And it's so much easier to hone in on specific avatars. But I mean, Facebook and Instagram advertising like definitely can work, and it's a good avenue. I mean, the top agent does do that as well on top of his other stuff, right?
That's something that he noted, was he said toward the end of it, he was like, you don't need to do like any one of these prospecting methods. You need to do all of them. Like you need to have
eventually, but like starting them all at the same time, I think you'll spread yourself thin. It'll be hard to really understand one singular one.
I agree with you.
It's my personal opinion.
I agree with you.
That's why I think like on the Facebook, Instagram side, like just finish that up. You know, you got the prompts done. You've got like really, really close to complete and generated advertising, and you kind of just need to film and then set up, which like those two things, like that isn't super time consuming. I mean, the filming and editing is much more time consuming than even the setup is.
It's more fun than the writing to me. Like I'll enjoy it more doing the filming.
Yeah. It's but like I would say like get that going and see how it does, you know, because like the Google side of things is cool too. I mean, there's so many different places to advertise. I mean, it's like I opened up my phone this week and Apple Maps, the factory phone application, now has advertisements from businesses. Like there is an infinite wealth of places to advertise. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Maps now, LinkedIn. I'm sure that Zillow or other similar platforms have an advertising component to them. I'm positive. Like every company out there has advertising base. And so like, you know, there's a million different avenues. I'd say that from a personal perspective, I think you have the most tools at your disposal for Facebook and Instagram. And therefore, I think that would be a really good thing to hammer home and test out. Because, I mean, I don't have any experience with Google stuff. I mean, advertising, a lot of the principles lay over, but in terms of like setup, right, that would require like additional research on your end or understanding that, which is like, obviously is the case with lots of stuff. But that would be my opinion. Like hammer that home, finish it up, like you're close.
Well, my understanding is that with the Google local service ads, your business page is the ad. So like I don't have to go develop ads for Google. Like
Yeah.
it's just my page that it promotes to people. So like
Yeah, I mean,
I submit it and get it set up. And
yeah.
I don't touch it.
I don't know anything about it, but
If they want me to develop ads for it for them to post, then I'm gonna pause it and then go back to the Facebook stuff because I intend on finishing the Facebook stuff anyhow. My understanding is that you get approved and then you give Google access to like recurring funding and then you just let it do its thing and then like people call you. That's my understanding. And
Sure.
if that's the case, then I spend like 2 days getting reviews and then 1 day setting it up and then I can go back to my Facebook stuff and let this run in the background while I get the Facebook stuff going. If it's way more involved than that, then I'm going to put a pin in it and leverage what I already have a bunch of work done on to finish that
Yeah.
up
I
first.
mean, scope it however you will. I don't know anything about Google advertising.
Me
Just
neither.
from my experience on spending money on advertisements, I hesitate to put any money behind anything that I don't understand, and therefore my recommendation is to finish Facebook and Instagram because it's something that I understand, and I think like I've passed on a lot of my resources.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I'd like to see how that turns out. On the Google side of things, like I just can't give input because I don't know how the Google
Right.
side works. I never considered that or did that.
Yeah. I also had a thought this week about firing up the static ad that I had from last year, the like
Yeah.
carbon copy of what the top agent had. Just putting like $5 a day on it or something like that, just to get the account active again, so I don't like hit the account with like fucking 100 different iterations of ad all in 1 day or
Yeah,
whatever.
you could that
Yeah.
would help you out with repetition in that sense. You won't be able to post all the ads at once regardless because it's going to be a lot of ads, so it will be staggered over probably the course of around 5 days,
Okay.
depending on how many
Right.
you make.
hmm
Um,
It also gets me more familiar with navigating because I haven't been in there in a while. I haven't been in Ads Manager. So if I start running these this week at just a couple dollars a day spend just to get my face out there for exposure and then get me more comfortable with how to navigate the setup, then I'll be much more efficient once the Facebook ads are ready to go and I can load it all up. Because
Mhm.
I'll be rusty getting back into it.
Yeah. It would be good to get the account warmed up. In that sense, I would say, if I was gonna warm up the account, what I would do is because the thing about Facebook advertising too is like, technically speaking, all Facebook ads and Facebook profiles should have their advertising public on the database domain.
Mhm.
There are business managers that you can buy,
Mhm.
and given the fact that the top agent is obviously well versed in advertising,
Mhm.
there are business managers that you can buy that will lock down your ads from being posted on the
Okay.
public domain.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit, it's kind of like a backdoor. They are expensive and they require meta rep, but I mean, if he's spending good money on this stuff and he doesn't want his stuff copied, it's an obvious investment. Like I know a lot of people who did this, like a lot of people who use the same media buying agency to run the ad account that I use also use that
Interesting.
to prevent ads from being copied.
Right.
And so like there is that side of it as well, and like you don't know, and like
Right.
they won't tell you, right? But that side of things, I would say for running the stack ads, the way that I would do it is I would take the avatars that you have, and then put like 5 or 10 static ads out there that are refreshed based on your avatars.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then
Yeah.
just go run those, right? Because
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with the initial static ads was they were very generic. I was very surprised that that
Super
ad
bland.
was being run for as long as it was with money behind it from the top agent. I have a hunch that he has an additional ad account under a different business manager that is locked out. That'd be my hunch.
no.
Because I doubt that. I mean, it's possible that that's the only ad he's running, and then he's getting all his other leads off of like paid reels of homes,
Mm.
right? That's is very possible. But I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't throw it to the side that he just isn't running anything else anywhere else, right? Because it is
Yeah.
possible.
Well, I'm wondering if it's a combination of things because he is not like super tech savvy. He's just been doing the
Yeah, but
Facebook
I mean,
ads
if
for a
you have
while.
money, you just pay someone who is.
I guess that's true. Well, in a previous meeting, he had mentioned that like every day he wakes up and he goes through his like 10 new leads and then he calls them and whatever,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm looking at like 10 new leads per day, if we're looking at, he's probably running Google ad. I know he's running Google ads now, and Facebook ads and postcards. And like, if he's doing a variety of stuff, it's kind of like, in investing, you do like one thing that works to build your brand and then you diversify to stabilize,
Yeah.
right? If he's diversified up here at like a bunch of different prospecting methods that are kind of passive, like all these like ads that he's running and stuff like that, I don't think it's impossible for him to wake up with like 3 ads from Facebook, 1 from Google service. He got a phone call yesterday from a postcard and like, maybe like a couple others.
Oh yeah,
from
for
YouTube ads
sure.
or
But
whatever.
like to get there, I would just hone in on something.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that would be my recommendation.
Yeah. Cool. That's
Right.
my business update.
Cool.
What is your lessons learned this week?
Yes, my lessons learned. I don't actually. I forgot to write one.
That's okay.
But I would say that this week the loft situation was a little bit of a setback. And so kind of one of the things that looking back a little bit too, like I've been hustling in the shop space almost every day, outside of like maybe a day or two here and there to attend to home stuff or whatever, but like almost 6 days a week for sure on average. And I would say that the it'll always take longer than you think it will. And that's okay as long as you keep working towards it and keep pushing for it to happen.
Right.
So that's what I'm continuing to do, even though that there obviously are setbacks. But I mean, looking at the total volume of work that I've done, I think that it's appealing and it's good. So I'm happy in that respect. But it always will take a little bit longer than you want it to. So
Right.
that just in mind for all the different endeavors that come my way.
Yeah, that's probably one to continue thinking about too as you get going. Because I'm sure
Yeah.
eventually you'll hit a point where you'll be like, I've dumped thousands of hours into this and I don't have a race car. Like Joel
Yeah,
joked yesterday, he was like, you better have a running car in a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's never built a race car before. Like, right, like cars
Yeah.
take time, right? So like,
Yeah,
just
I watched this fabricator on Instagram,
Mhm.
and he was talking about, he had some reels this week I watched.
Yeah.
He was talking about how anytime you're doing metal work, 80% of the shape happens in 20% of your time, and then 80% of your time is dedicated to the last 20% of the shape you want,
yeah.
right? Because it's just those
Yeah.
little things that take a lot of time. And so he was talking about it, he was like, I have tens of hours dedicated into metal components that no one will ever see, like interior door jam mates,
Yeah.
or like odd end stuff in the engine bay down low. Like no one will ever see this stuff, but like to get it right and to get it nice, it takes time. And so I think that, long story short, it will always take longer than I anticipate. Something that I'm trying to also plan out is I do want some metalworking tools in there. And so I'm being very careful with the amount of stuff I put in there and where I can locate it. But just kind of playing that stuff by ear for now. I did notice that Mike cleared out the back porch section, like with unpromptu. Like he cleared all that stuff out for me. On the
section?
like when you walk out the back door, there's that concrete slab on the ground. He cleared all that stuff out.
I didn't even know there was stuff there.
Yeah,
I've only been out there.
There was like pallets and cinder blocks and like a random bicycle and like all kinds of shit.
Sweet.
And I was thinking, I didn't even mention them, but I was thinking like a week back, I was like, it would be nice to clear that out so I could put stuff back there eventually.
Yeah.
But it's not a right now concern. I went out back there this week and it was all cleared out. And I was like, oh shit, like that's awesome. But yeah, that would be my business lesson learned for this week, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you have a good head on your shoulders with it too. The other week when you were talking about Porsche designs, you were mentioning that it's like a 5 or 10 year build.
Oh yeah,
which is, I think, for the right frame to take it.
It'll be, well, kind of like I've kind of put to the side the like crypto pump king box of wealth. There's like a lot of people who are like generating AI OnlyFans models or doing some e-commerce thing or just scamming people out of money or, gambling or learning how to invest or trade and do that side of things. And I think that can have a lot of merit to you. But from what I've seen about myself is that I think I will be largely unhappy with the long term, with the quality of life I generate for myself and the person I build by trying to expedite it through one of those means that doesn't really provide any inherent value beyond self-gain. And whether that's like my psychological coping for the fact that I just hate like e-commerce and I had a painful experience with it, I don't know. Like it could be totally like me convincing myself of that psychologically and it doesn't actually have merit. But regardless, I believe that I can generate more value in my life and have a better quality of life given a longer outlook on the time horizon, and also with the perspective that the guy who started Singer started it in his 50s. And it's like, okay, like I feel old in comparison to like the Instagram kid with a Lambo, but in the reality of the world, like if I was 40 years old and I'd already learned how to metalwork and weld, and I had a really nice shop space, and I had a race car or two that I'd built, and I had customers laid out, and I was really going through stuff, like I would have a very, very happy life. And like I've known plenty of people who race like in their I'm like even talking about in their 30s, like that's 10 years away from me, right? Like I've known people in their 30s and in their 40s who
5 years away. We're getting
well,
old.
I'm talking about mid 30s.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like 35 or 45, right?
Right.
That's 10 years or 20 years away.
That feels better.
But it's like I know plenty of people in that space, and even much older than that, who have awesome racing careers, who really love their life and spent 10 years building something meaningful or 20 years building something meaningful.
Yeah.
And that that's just kind of the side and the life I want to build. And so that's kind of why I have this longer time horizon look at it, but I still try to actively work on it every day because I see the other side of the coin with people who are in their 30s or 40s who haven't dedicated themselves for the last 10 or 20 years and are continuing on this idea of I will get to it. And I don't want to fall into like that. Really scares me a lot more than even being poor, is like becoming the kind of person who's like I will get to it, which is why I've put such a 180 on my approach to life and really doing stuff that I find meaningful and that I love, and putting full force into that as much as I possibly can, to try and not hit that, right?
Yeah, that's the whole reason that I didn't like stop trying to do the Kava bar thing to do e-commerce with you, is because I was like, I feel what you feel now, like the dredge of like this is not engaging work for me. I felt that like right away, and I was like, I know from 2023, like this isn't something that I can do long term. Like I can buckle down and be into it for like a few weeks, but I will fall off fast. Like I will fade, and if I'm not engaged, then I'm not useful.
Yeah, the hard part for me was like it wasn't even. I think engagement was part of it too, but the other side of the coin, the bigger side of the coin, at least for me, was like this is meaningless. Like this has no purpose. It provides no value. It doesn't do anything. Like I don't feel as though I'm becoming a better person because of e-commerce. I feel like I'm becoming a better person because of the hardships that business is giving me.
Right.
But it's like if I'm gonna take that route, then why not do it with something that I actually find meaningful? Because then you like the two paired together, like it's a much harder force to stop.
Yeah.
And so, that I reached my threshold limit with e-commerce, and I threw in the rags. I'm sure that there definitely is other people who continue to pursue it and who have found greater success than I am, and I have it. I think that it's a viable business model. I wasn't willing to pay for the problems that e-commerce came with because I didn't see the meaning behind it outside of self-gain.
Yeah.
And that's the decision I made there. But looking forward to the shop space coming to fruition and all that brings. So
Yeah, I think that falls under engagement for me. Is like if it's like a menial task or it's not impactful, then I'm not engaged.
That makes sense.
Yeah, similar vibes.
Yeah. But what do you have for your lesson learned this week?
Mine is a quote from my broker that I thought was the quote I mentioned earlier, but it's not. It's a different one. But when talking about advertising, they were talking about the guy who spent $1,200 on postcards or $1,400 on postcards, and he was like, "Oh, it's so much money." And the top agent was like, "Dude, I would like that would be my rock bottom. Like I would spend like $4 or $5 grand on postcards alone, and then I would go do other stuff." The broker interjected at that time, and he was like, "Guys, he's not kidding. Like, here's the quote." Have you ever had a friend that you've had to like pull out of the casino? Like, come on, man, like we gotta go. Like, spending money on advertising is like the polar opposite of that. It's like, come on, man, double it, put it all on black, double it. In real estate, that's that's what they are encouraging. And that's where I want to get to. I think I just need to break the seal and see it work. And then as soon as I see it work and I have a method that works, then that's where I'll be.
Yeah.
I'm just not there right now. But once I get there, that's exactly what I want to be like. Because I see a lot of agents. There were agents in there that have been there for 10 years and they have like 50K, 60K years, which is like a regular living, right? But they're the same people who are like, can you help me with like expireds and canceleds? Like, there was one lady who was talking about, she found an expired listing and she went in person in the morning and the lady living there just did not want to talk to her. She just did not want to hear it. And like she tried to give the pamphlet and she wouldn't take the pamphlet. And so she was asking the broker, she was like, what do I do in a situation like that? Like I ended up mailing her the pamphlet. So like at least she has the information, but like she just did not want to talk to me. And the broker was like, go find another expired. Like if someone doesn't want to talk to you, like it's not your job to convince them to sell your
Yeah.
house. It's your job to convince someone who wants to sell their house to sell their house with you. Right. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, man, that's, she spoke about it later, but like her driving thing is that she doesn't want to spend money on ads, or like postcards or anything like that because she, is afraid of losing the money, which I think is valid, but I don't want that fear to hold me back. I think you can dump all your money in the wrong spot in advertising for real estate. Like if I made a real estate closing and I earned $5,000 and I spent all of that money sending postcards to the same 100 houses like every day for 3 weeks, I'm probably wasting my money. Because then after the postcards, I have to go door to door. I have to go call them. Like, I have to go interact with them afterward, right? If you just do the postcards and don't touch it, then it's not going to yield anything. So I think there are ways to waste your money in real estate with advertising, but I think that once you figure out how to play blackjack, then it's like you fucking like do not get away from the table. Like keep going.
Yeah.
And that's a quote that I got from my broker this week that I'm going to try to remember and hang on to as I get into more of the ad space.
Yeah.
But that's the lesson I learned this week.
You have a dial in to pair with that?
I do. It's a Leonardo da Vinci quote.
Yeah.
And it goes, God will sell you anything at the price of labor.
That's an interesting one.
That's all I got. This is a short one, dude.
Yeah, it was shorter. I mean,
Hell
we've had a couple
Efficient.
hour-and-a-half ones here and there. So.
Yeah. Well, we also spent a lot of time this week. And I find that when we spend a lot of time together, we talk throughout the week. And so then when it comes time to podcast, it's more like updating the camera than like updating each other. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the loft happened last night. We hadn't talked about that yet.
Yeah. Demo work sucks. Yeah. As I was doing it, Mike was like, this is why you don't want to be a framer. And I was like, you got that right.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks.
Being the first framer sounds great. Being the second framer sounds terrible.
Freaking drunk with no care. Or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I was looking at the board to the wall and I was like, there is literal nails holding me up right now. There's like 4 nails into concrete.
Yeah. Well, when you guys hung the motors up, the boat motors, I was like, 700 pounds of motor is pretty heavy on that beam there, right? But
700 a piece.
But yeah, on the bright side, if Mike is going to have a guy come out and get it fixed, then you will basically have like a refurbished loft that you can. And if the framer comes out, he's like, bruh, scrap the whole loft, rebuild the whole thing from scratch. Then you can be like, Mike, what if we did the frame out of like steel and then we put like wood on top of that or sheet metal or something? And you could end up with something even better. Who knows?
Yep, very true.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all we got for this 110th episode of the Vision 79 podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tuning in and had a good week this past week. We will see you next time and enjoy.